this one hurts me, this topic does. Because Russell Wilson, I am an incredible fan of him personally. Yeah. And his game, I've been a fan of for a mighty long time. We came into the league together. I first met Russ at the Senior Bowl, an all-star game coming out of college. But James Jones, his play this year has not been up to par. Yeah. Let me ask you the question that some people might be too afraid to ask, but we're glad you're here to listen to. Is it time for the Broncos to bench Russell Wilson?
I don't want to answer this question. Yes, it is. And the reason why I say that is because the Broncos are not going anywhere. I do not believe that Sean Payton wants Russell Wilson to be his quarterback for next year. So with that all being said, we hear all these rumors about trading Courtland Sutton, trading Jeudy. You got your best pass rusher out of there already and sent him to the 49ers. You just cut your second best pass rusher in Frank Clark. So it sounds like you're just saying, you know what? It's time to kind of blow this thing up and let's rebuild this thing. And the only way to start to rebuild that thing is to sit Russell Wilson down, go out there with Jarrett Stidham. Who knows how many games you may win. You will get a high first-round draft pick, and you go get yourself a quarterback and you start rebuilding this team. But Russell Wilson is not even going to benefit from out there playing. His trade value is not going to go up. If anything, his trade value is going to go down because we do not, in 5 games, 6 games, we have seen this team look terrible. So it's not like we're just waiting on Russell Wilson to look like the Russell Wilson of old. It hasn't. He wasn't the Russell Wilson of old last year. He hasn't been the Russell Wilson of old this year. So with that being said, I just think they need to blow that whole thing up, and I think it starts with the quarterback spot, sitting Russ down, making sure Russ stay healthy, and hopefully they can find a trade partner for him.
Shady, I surprisingly agree with James Jones. And the reason I do is there have been roughly 150 opportunities for quarterbacks to play on Sundays this season, roughly 150. You got 5 weeks of play, 32 games, et cetera, or 16 games, 32 teams. Russell Wilson threw for under 100 yards yesterday. Shady, only Justin Fields, only Joe Burrow, and now Russell Wilson have done that. 3 times out of a plausible 150 times have quarterbacks thrown for under 100 yards, and Russell Wilson is one of those dudes. Russell Wilson, I believe, is maybe 9-17 or so in his last 25, 30-plus games. 9-21 in his last 30. 9-21 in his last 30 games. Shady, it can't get worse than what it was yesterday. I don't think it's all Russell Wilson's fault. Russ, it's not all your fault, big dog. I do not think you are exclusively to blame. No doubt. I still think you can play and contribute to a team and have success. Yes, but the Broncos have to make a change, Shady. They have to. The quarterback touches the ball on every play. I think it might be time for the Broncos to at least hit a quick reset. You can bring him back in later, but hit a quick reset.
I disagree. The Broncos don't have a Russell Wilson issue. They have a whole Broncos issue. Listen, they all got to share that blame, all of them. They all playing bad. Like, I watched last night, and I've been seeing this a lot lately, where the wide receivers are not getting open. I don't see no separation. I don't see no open wide receivers. Now, I will say this. There's some times where Russ should just put the ball up there and get a wide receiver a chance.
Take some chance.
If you see the touchdown with Courtland Sutton in the end zone, he caught the one-handed boom touchdown. He was covered, but it was a great catch. Great defense, but a better catch.
Yes, sir.
So when I look at this team, even on the defense, now the defense played a little bit better last night, but they've been bad the whole season, right? They're almost last in every category as a defense. And then even the Chiefs, they didn't play great on offense, but they went up and down the field. They just didn't score touchdowns. So when I look at this team, what's the real issue? Yeah, some Russ. Russ can be better. But then I look at the whole offense, look at the whole team. They all can be better, coaching included. So when you ask me who's the bigger issue, should we bench Russ? I'm going to say no. Let him play it out. Because he's struggling, the wide receivers are struggling, the whole team is struggling. And I think even with the coaching, there was a play before the half where Sean Payton caught a timeout. Thinking it was, second down or third down? It was fourth down, bro. Fourth down. That year of being out of football, as you can see, it built up some rust. And I think that how good of a coach he is, he'll be better. So when you ask me, should I bench him? I'm going to say no. And if you're going to bench him, you're going to bench everybody.
But, Joy, because you can't bench everybody.
You know what I mean? Like, they releasing everybody.
Yo.
They trying.
Make the special team coach the head coach. Sit Sean down. Everybody got to be benched.
They try.
But to Shady's point, because he's being somewhat facetious, but I take it to a degree seriously, you can't actually bench all 11 on offense. But you can bench the one that touches the ball every time. I don't think that Russell Wilson should be responsible for the other 10, but the fact of the matter is he touches the ball every time. If you could bench all 11, I'm with Shady, but you can't. So should you bench Russ?
I know it's tough.
But I'm listening to y'all talk, and I'm like,
Tough.
imagining Caleb Williams with Sean Payton.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Man.
But why you got to bench him to win?
No, they want to bench him to lose.
I mean, I'm sorry, why you got to bench him to lose?
They're losing now.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're going to have to trade Russ in order to make that happen.
Who gonna trade for
Somebody's going to trade for Russ.
Ain't nobody gonna get Russ.
Somebody is going to trade for Russ, yes.
I guarantee you, nobody's gonna go out
Somebody
there
is
and be like,
going
you know
to
what?
trade for Russ.
I'm gonna
I
give you
doubt
this for Russ. No.
No.
They did Carson Wentz?
Somebody's going to trade for Russ, yes. And Carson Wentz did not win a Super
I
Bowl.
take bets. I like the
Jay
gamble.
does take bets.
I like the gamble.
I believe someone will still trade for Russell Wilson. You say it all the time. General managers, coaches are arrogant. They have egos.
Yeah.
They believe
That's
they
true.
can do better than
That is
somebody
true.
else.
So with that being said, Russ can't get hurt. I'm just trying to get you to change your answer.
Well,
so they can't put him out there because he can't get hurt.
Here's the thing. This is where I've been since the beginning of the season. I think if they make it to the bye and they still look like they do now, then yes, the bye is week 9. So we're in week 6 now. 2 more weeks of this. Do what you want. Do what you want. The rest of the season is lost already. So you're already having conversations about what are we going to do next year to get this ship right. So I think by the bye, if you're in the same situation, which, let's be honest, the way that this looks, they probably will be, then it becomes unreasonable to play Russ because you are going to have to move off of Russ, and maybe the time away from the field will make people, imagine it went a little bit differently and start to believe that they can fix him, and then you start preparing for the future. This is just it's a disaster top to bottom. I just don't think for the money that he's making, for the prestige of Sean Payton, you can't do it just yet.
Here's my question, though. Why the bye? Like, what are you waiting for? Because if you are saying bench him by the bye.
I would say because the bye is week 9. I was going to say week 8. You're halfway through the season, essentially, and nothing has changed.
But I don't anticipate anything changing.
Yeah, they would have won.
So it's like, if you are saying it could be done at any point in the season, we've seen 6 games now. This is the worst start in Broncos franchise history. It ties it, I believe. Worst start in Russell Wilson's history. Worst start in Sean Payton's history. And there is nothing on tape that leads you to believe it will change.
It's a wrap.
Nothing on tape. Then my real question is, why wait?
And real quick to touch on that. If I'm Russell Wilson, right, and I'm not saying as a player you never want to be benched, period. You always feel like if you out there, you're going to help your team win. But you mean to tell me you done traded 2 of the best pass rushers on the defense. You want the defensive coordinator to stop people. You're already talking about trading 2 of your best pass catchers in Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, whether they get open or not. Those is 2 starters. One got the C on his chest. Why would I trade both of them and then still send Russ out there? That's crazy to me. So for me, if you're going to do all that, bench Russ, put Stidham out there with these young fellas, and however the season plays out, the season may play out. But I would sit Russell Wilson because if you are trying to trade him, you can't risk him getting hurt going out there.
So you would start next week with Jarrett Stidham?
I would because I don't see nothing changing. It's a bad football team.
I mean, it's inarguable. There's nothing I can say to argue that they are not a bad football team. I just think you're paying him $200 million. You leveraged what you did to get him and gave up what you did to get him, whether he's playing well or not. And I really feel a bit silly arguing for him all week and arguing for Sean Payton and then watching that performance last night.
That's my problem. Like, it's not getting better. No. James, if I was seeing growth, I would be like, oh, okay, bet. Let's just see what he can do. But as a defender, if your quarterback marches out on the field after a whole week of practice where you just lost a game to the Jets, a game in which you could not afford to lose because you should be better than the Jets. But you know what? Hey, let's right the wrong. Short week. Let's go out here and dominate. First possession. You go 4 and out. On 4th down, Russ, you take a sack. It's 4th down. Just, Shady, let me see the rock, big dog. It's 4th down. Do that. Do what Shady did. Just throw it. Just see what happens. You can't afford to take a sack on 4th down. Quite literally, America, this is the only thing that Russell Wilson cannot do is take a sack on 4th down. Just throw it up over your head and pray to God, who you believe in fervently, and see if he will deliver you. Amen. Now, after that happens...
How about
on the second
4th
possession.
and 3, coach, on your own 45 going against Patty, punt it.
Here's the second possession, though, James. Interception. So if I'm a defender and we've waited all week to get that sour taste out of our mouth versus a Jets loss, and the first time you see a 4th down, turnover on downs, second time you see an interception, what are we doing? What are we doing? What?
I mean, I guess you could mention. I'm trying to see it from I guess your how you see it, but you got to have some backups that you want to see play, right? And I think of, like, for example, last night you talked about Fred Clark. They got rid of him, and they got rid of Gregory.
Randy Gregory.
Right?
Yep.
Randy Gregory. So now I watched Jonathan Cooper, right? He was balling. I was like, who's this dude? I had to look him up. From Ohio State, he looked pretty good. A 7th-round draft pick. Now they're going to use him for the future. Now, if you got players like that you think are pretty good, you want to test them out, I would do that. But as far as for the quarterback position, like, we already seen what Stidham could do. We already seen that. And then Russ, like I said, like as much as you want to blame him, we got to blame everybody. That defense is bad. The wide receivers ain't getting no separation. Y'all watched the game yesterday?
But has it...
On fourth down, they did a sprint out. To the right side, right? Was the 4th down, 3rd down?
4th down. But the 5th possession is the 3rd down.
You got mad. You got mad about it.
5th possession
I'm
was
like,
3rd down.
Acho, where's he going with it? Where do you want to go with it? They locked up. They locked up. Like
That's right here, yeah.
Come on, like jailhouse locked up. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Won't let them out?
So you see what I'm saying? So I get it. Try to throw the ball, but where you going with that? Where? Who? Where? How?
But on 4th down, you're giving them one option.
It's everybody though. So as much as we want to blame Russ, and you say bench him, I mean,
4th down.
you got to bench everybody. Everybody got to get a bench.
But if they're going to bench him, it's to completely pivot towards the future.
Exactly.
It's not just it's not to punish Russ.
Yes.
It's because, okay, we're not winning with you. We need to make sure you don't get hurt so you still retain some trade value. I believe someone will trade for Russell Wilson regardless. Somebody out there is going to need a quarterback, and if it's between Russell Wilson or any of the other lists of backup quarterbacks, they're going to go with Russ, regardless of how much money. Everybody got to pay somebody. Yeah. If you can afford him, you can structure it. We thought that none of these. We thought Goff's deal couldn't get moved. Yeah. Carson Wentz. The people get paid and get moved all the time. I believe it will happen.
Right,
if you are talking about the future here, and you have to pick between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson being there next year, we know who's going to be there next year. Now, I'm not saying Russell Wilson won't, but the way that things are looking right now.
Yeah. And that's my only reason why I'm saying pay him, because even when you just listen to the head coach. The head coach ain't came up there one time since he got there and said, Russ, my guy. Mm-hmm. Not one time. Every time he get up there talking about Russ, he ain't doing this. He need to stop doing that. He need to stop doing that. So you already know, like, Sean Payton ain't even on his side. So with that being said, we not winning. I'm not on your side. I brought in a free agent, and I'm paying him $10 million. And Jarrett Stidham, like, he ain't just making no little regular minimum,
life, man.
Yeah, minimum backup money. Like, they brought him in and gave him some nice little change. So he's not gonna be there next year, period. Or the coach would have came out and said, Russ, our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna be here. We gonna get this thing right. He ain't said that yet. So obviously they looking for the future. So if you're looking for that, don't get Russ hurt so you could trade him. Put Stidham in the game and see how many games you can win from here on out.
95 yards look crazy, though.
That is crazy.
That look crazy as well as looking at it. That's like Justin Fields.
It literally. Justin Fields, Joe Burrow,
60 yards,
Wilson,
80 yards. Yes.
Only quarterbacks under 100 yards to play.
Yeah, don't bring Fields
quarter.
in it, though. This ain't Fields' topic.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.